Hi again, and welcome back to the Retro Room. This will be the first part in a, I don't know how many part series, where we're going to put together an IBM AT clone. This is a clone case. Looks very reminiscent of the AT, but this is not an IBM product. It's very heavy, it's very big. Like the XT cases, it has a shell case that just slides off the front. But in this case, there seems to already be a motherboard. Let's investigate. I had built a machine before, little 286. In this case, but I'm not entirely sure what's in here. There is an MFM cable. No. Floppy cable, perhaps? A, B, yeah. Probably. Anyway, let's put that aside. There's an IDE cable in there, randomly. A few power connections. There is a video card already in here. It says Zymos VGA DVGA Z2L. I'm not familiar with what that means. It is a VGA card. 16-bit, but that's not a problem. This machine will handle 16-bit cards. And put that down there. This has 4 banks of 256K by 1 RAM chips, 9 in each bank, 8 plus 1 for parity, making 1 megabyte total on board. There's an AMD branded 286 10 megahertz and a IIT 287 also at 10 megahertz. I can't see in there what the clock crystal says. It's a Chipson Technology chipset board. There's a battery pack here. I'm not sure if there's anything in there. There's 3 AAAs in there. Wonder if it's holding settings. No corrosion in there. Well, I think first thing to do, we'll make this a 2-part test. We will plug this into VGA, which I should be able to screen capture for. Going to have to move the case around for that. This thing is a monster. Hardly fits on my bench. Okay. Plug in VGA. Got to get my power cable. We'll plug him in. This power supply says it's a maximum output 200 watt. It's a big old beefy boy for AT with the bright red paddle switch on the side. Let's flip that and see what happens. All right, if this works, you should see something in the upper left-hand corner there. Well, he got noisy. There you go. He's booting just fine. 286 BIOS, copyright 1989, AMI for Jameco Electronics. 1 mega RAM, 1024 kilobytes. Floppy drive, controller failure, keyboard error. Press F1 to resume. Yeah, I don't have a keyboard attached or anything else currently. Let's see what we can't do to rectify that. But the video card works, the motherboard seems to work, and the power supply works. All right, let's see if we can't put a floppy drive on here, a controller card for said floppy drive on here, and see what we can't do about possibly putting a hard drive on here. All right, I have a floppy cable. Have a little controller card that should fit the bill. Pin 1 is on the top here. Pin 1 is also this kind of dotted line. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but we'll plug him in and we'll drop him inside the case, connecting to the motherboard. Now we will need a floppy drive, perhaps two. Have a little 3.5 inch guy here, and also a 5 1/4 inch that I think we will try to run at the same time. Plug the 5 1/4 inch in. The 3.5. We will make the 3.5 drive A by plugging it in past the twist there. Then 5 1/4 inch is keyed. If I can do this without this cable getting in the way, let's put this drive down in this hole. Then we'll plug him in as drive B. And the keyboard, have that sorted. We should be able to get something going now. Let me find a boot disk on 3 1/2. This one says DOS 622 boot disk. DOS 622 is a bit beyond a 286, but it should boot just fine. I can't see what I'm doing. Drop him in there. Put the keyboard on the lap. And on he goes. We got no beeps. We'll press delete to go into setup. CMOS setup. Yeah, that's not the date, but it's better than I expected. Floppy drive A is 1.44. Floppy drive B, I believe, is that. We don't have a hard drive installed. We will write to I'm not touching it. We're going to see if it boots. That doesn't sound right. Maybe it's a disk problem. I don't know. Here's another one that says DOS 622 boot. Faceplates want to come off. I don't know about this drive. Yeah. Let's disconnect this. Curious. Well, we'll set him aside. We'll use this little Mitsumi job that was working in another machine. Okay. He's going to need power. Kind of a tight squeeze the way I have that configured. Start him on and try again. All those ticks as it reads up the memory. Disk boot failure. I don't seem to have too many boot disks on 3.5. This one says Win98 boot disk. That is definitely later than this machine, but we will see what happens. Nothing. Windows 95 boot. I think this machine is trying to be a pest. I'm not quite sure what's on this disk. This one is a mem test disk. Not working. Well, okay, let's do this a different way. I'm going to power him off. Take the drives off. Down here, this is a Tandon TM65-2L. This is 360K, 5¼ inch floppy drive. And I know this guy works. At least I'm fairly sure of it. And it should work just fine in this machine. All right, got him plugged in. Getting a disk real fast. a Wise MS-DOS 3.1 system diskette. This is a 360K disk. Drop him in there. Drive tested. Run setup. The system knew what was there. That's awfully impressive. I'll skate past the memory test. The drive seek just fine. The drive's not spinning. It is without a disk in it. Let's put the disk in there. Now it's spinning, but it's still not reading. Okay. I have a copy of IBM's Diagnostics version 2.05. We'll try that. I wonder if my controller is just not working. Let me get another controller and we'll try something different. All right, I have a different card. Little Winbond thing by Data Technology. The DTC2280. This was a card that was working in a 386 build not too long ago. The other card I have no clue about. We're going to keep with what we already have in here. And we'll turn the machine on. He's booting just fine. Well, in the BIOS screen currently. And it worked. I think it was just the controller. Okay. Let's try the Wise disk. Give this the old Control-Alt-Delete. There was the drive seek. booting just fine. All right, well, we found a bad controller card, but the rest of the system seems to be working just fine. A lot of the discs that we tried before probably work. This video is getting a bit long, so we'll pick up again in a part 2. In part 2, we're going to try to get some MFM hard drives working. But I thank you for joining me in this video, and have a nice evening.